We're going to go ahead and take a look at number 47 from section 1.3, which deals with quadratic equations. 47 is going to read as x squared minus 8x plus 15 is equal to 0. And we're asked specifically to use the method completing the square in order to solve this. So what you want to do, a couple rules. First off, we want to clear out where the constant term is sitting. This is actually what's preventing you from completing the square. So that's why we're going to subtract 15 from both sides. This is going to help clear that spot. The other thing that you want to note is check to make sure that the coefficient out in front of your lead term, in other words, the term that is being squared, or the term that has the highest degree, has a coefficient of 1. If it doesn't, you're going to want to divide each term by whatever that coefficient is out in front. If it already is a 1, then you're set to go. Okay, so now we have x squared minus 8x plus something that I'm going to figure out is equal to negative 15. So the next thing that you want to do is all of your attention in order to complete the square is going to rest with the coefficient of your middle term. So I'm going to take this negative 8, so yes, include the sign that's out in front of it, and I'm going to cut it in half. So negative 8 divided by 2 will give you negative 4. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that negative 4 and I'm going to square it. And that will give me a positive 16. This information is going to find itself on both sides. Take a moment while I fill this in to think about why might that be? Why am I going to add the 16 to both the left hand and the right hand side? Have you hazarded a guess? Are you nodding? Are you just staring blankly at the screen? You can be honest with me. I can't hear you anyway. So the reason why we're doing that is because we're working with an equation. We want to, if we're going to add something on the left-hand side, we must add it to the right-hand side in order to maintain that balance in the equation. Okay, so we're just being fair on both sides. So the whole reason for doing this, and I'm just going to clean this up a little bit, mostly the right-hand side. I'm just going to add that negative 15 with that 16. We now have a perfect square quadratic. If you were to factor this, you would note that you would get two binomials, and both of them would be x minus 4. Okay. A little life hack for you, the negative 4 that you see here, it's tipped off from when you do the first step in completing the square. Whatever value you get after you divide by the 2, that will be the value that will populate the second part of the binomial of your factor form. Okay, so now hopefully this gets a little bit easier. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that square by taking the square root on both sides, again, because I want to maintain balance. And this is going to give me x minus 4 is equal to, I'll do a little bit more detail. This will be plus or minus the square root of 1. Or in other words, we have x minus 4 is equal to plus or minus 1, because the square root of 1 is 1. If you don't believe me, default to your calculator. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do, we want to get x by itself, as we usually do, so we will add 4 to both sides. So now we have x is equal to 4 plus or minus 1. So what I want you to note here is that there are actually two answers in one here. One of them is 4 plus 1, the other one is 4 minus 1. So your final answers will be 5 or 3. There are your solutions. Again, if you're not sure, you can always plug them back into the original equation and see if you get true statements.